It's time for a little slice of Britain, because as a completion reward for the exclusive event Lotus Leaf, you can go ahead and grab yourself the Lotus Esprit. This thing has 350 brake horsepower, 295 foot-pounds of torque and weighs 2,851 pounds, so it's actually pretty light with a 3.5 litre V8. Apparently it took them 21 years to fit an Esprit with a V8. But I've got to say that it's definitely time well spent, because just look at this thing. It is a beautiful, beautiful car. It looks a bit like a cheese wedge and was used in that one episode of Top Gear. In fact, I've actually got to see that car in person. But it has pop-up headlights, it is low slung and quite sporty, and actually has a pretty good look for it. Especially for an early 2000s car. Now looking at the interior, we've got ourselves a few sort of dials and gauges. Not as many screens because of course this is again an O2 car, but it does look pretty cool indeed. And now let's go ahead and take a listen. So going to the upgrade shop, the first thing we're doing is jumping straight over to conversion and over to engine swaps to see what we've got. We've got just one, and it is a 5.2 litre V10, which means this thing is going to be making a stupid amount of power. But we'll come back to that in just a little bit. Now going to aero and appearance, what do we get from the bug-eyed speed machine? We've got ourselves just front aero from Forza for the front. That's kind of disappointing, and I'm going to assume, yep, some Forza rear aero and the option to take off the wing entirely, which honestly, it might help with everything else later in this video, but it just looks, it looks weird. I'm sorry, but the wing is staying on. As for tyres, let's go ahead and see what this thing starts out on. It starts out on not even street tyres. Oh wow, okay, this is going to get interesting. However, our resident tuner, Big Macintosh 762, is back with yet another tune for us, and this time here's the share code for it. Go ahead and check that out. It is for the Esprit V8, so let's go ahead and give it a little bit of a go. It's going to be sat at A800, and let's go ahead and see what the stats are. So with the upgrades, it is now 2,800 and something pounds lighter, with the same stock horsepower, but this time it only cost us 38 grand. Hey game, can I do something please? It would be very nice if I was able to move my tunes. So going to the paint shop now, we've got nothing in advance. Sadly, we're going to manufacture colours. We've got ourselves quite a lot, so you know what we do here. We've got ourselves 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 different colours for this thing, which is absolutely insane. And to be honest, I think a few of you might find this one familiar. As to where from, you'll just have to guess. Ah, that's awkward. Now I've had the wonderful joy of being able to see one of these cars in person, and they are absolutely beautiful. But if you wanted to go ahead and buy a pristine example, you can find one of them currently available as of 12th of March last year, so it might have been sold by now, but the price was an estimated £70,000 for one of these, which is absolutely insane. And yeah, you're going to need quite a loan if you want to afford one of these things. And away we go. We're up against a whole host of other different things. We're at the top of A-Class, of course, with the tune that's made for us by our wonderful mechanic Mac. We've also got a couple of Lamborghinis ahead of us, which we've got to try and get past, because our aim is to get to first by the end of this race. And honestly, I've got a pretty good feeling that this car's going to be able to manage it. Excuse me, Mr. Lee. And past the Porsche we go. Now, as far as I'm aware, there's just over about 1,200 of these cars left in the wild, or at least of the Esprit V8 variety. But yeah, like I say, I've only ever seen one, and that was in a car museum. I haven't actually seen another one of these since, because, well, they're just honestly really genuinely rare. These are some beautiful, beautiful cars, and I wish I could spend time actually looking around them a little bit more. In the meantime, that's another rare car, the Jaguar XJ220, and also another car that we've just passed, which has landed us with a very nice first place. All I have to remember is the fact that there are corners here. Okay, let's see how well it does on this part of the track. This is notorious for either being very good for cars, or having them, you know, end up absolutely all over the place. So far, honestly, I think this is going to be a nicer run for the Lotus, because these things are practically just built for racing. They are absolutely fantastic at that. But let's go ahead and see, what do we have? We've got we've got pretty decent handling through here. I'm honestly actually kind of impressed. Although, to be fair, I think most of that is down to the tuning work. Meanwhile, everybody else is back there. There's a massive gap, and across the line we go with the beautiful blue bug-eyed speed machine, like I say earlier. And we made it with the first place in a time of 2 minutes 47. In the meantime, we're going to jump over to engine swaps, throw in the 5.2 litre V10, and of course we're going to go ahead and twin turbo that absolute machine. And we're going to go ahead and of course fully upgrade that as well, because we're going to make this thing a little bit of a drag build with, you guessed it, good old bit of anti-lag. And before I forget, we're also going to go ahead and make this thing all-wheel drive. And you guessed it, we're going down to some good old-fashioned drag tyres too. So with all those upgrades, we are now sat at £2,627 with 1,215 brake horsepower for 100,000 credits. Oh boy, I'm going to be broke by the end of this video. And now the fun thing is we've got to sit down and tune this entire car. Oh boy, I'm going to be here a while. Okay, here we are now over the back of the Horizon Festival. Let's go ahead and get a little bit of a wheelie check. Do we have anything? Actually, yes we do. That's kind of surprising. Alright, so here we are on launch control and away we go. Let's go ahead and see what we get out of the almighty Lotus Esprit V8. This thing is honestly a pretty cool looking car indeed, and genuinely I kind of wish I had one at some point. But through the camera at 209 and off the end of the drive strip at a whopping 235. This thing is, I have no words. All that, and this car still had time to stop. Now I know what you're saying, I probably could have gotten faster had I left the wing off, but like I said earlier, there's really just, it feels wrong to take the wing off this thing. In the meantime, let's go ahead and put this thing back onto some race springs and dampers, and we've already got the road tyres on there, so now all we need to do is get this thing out to the motorway. However, before we go any further, here is this week's Forza shop. We've got ourselves the Ferrari Enzo, the UK race gloves, the dial-up modem, which sounds a bit like this. And then we've also got the McLaren Senna and the Hot Wheels suit from Outfits, the Horizon Super Wheelspin and the regular Horizon Wheelspin as well. And now, out to the motorway. Alrighty, here we are now over at the edge on the motorway. Let's go ahead and get ourselves on launch control once again. And away we go, this time to find out the top speed of this magnificent British wedge. Though being fair, I kind of prefer the term bug-eyed speed machine. And out of the speed zone at 250.08, and this thing is absolutely carving its way through the air right now. It is stupidly fast, and now we've got the downhill to go, which should be just down here, and also speed camera as well. Let's go ahead and put that in 7th, 271.42. We're going downhill, we've got 273. I did also see 274 for a second, there it is. And on the brakes we go, let's see how quickly does this thing stop. Huh, not bad. So it's fast, it races well, and let's go ahead and see how well it does going sideways with a little bit of drifting. Of course, back here at our normal favourite little drift zone, we are actually doing really well out the other side at 40,847, so just a few points difference to the Mercedes from last week, and now we've got to go ahead and do it all over again. And so away we go, back in here, going ahead and seeing how good we can get going back the other way, class at the edge of the little sort of guardrail back there, but go out the other side at 36,695 points. And that is the Lotus Esprit V8. A little reminder again, it is an exclusive seasonal event only, which is a little Lotus Leaf A-Class Lotus sort of seasonal race on the playlist. Then you've got until the season change on Thursday to go ahead and grab one of these for yourself. And honestly, I definitely recommend it. This thing is it's just crazy. But in the meantime, thank you very much for watching. I'll go ahead and see you all in the next one. Like, share, comment, subscribe, all that cool stuff. Thank you very much for watching. Tech out. See ya. Right, can I get faster than 274?